Your TIE Defender is at risk. Krennic has been quite persuasive about his own project. Stardust.
With the release of yesterday's second trailer for the fourth and final season of Star Wars Rebels, not only did we get a verified premiere date of October 16th, but in my opinion, we got to see just how exciting and potentially great the conclusion of the series is going to be. Of course, with the trailer being 3 minutes in length, we were able to see a preview of the many primary plots and storylines going into the final season next month, including Sabine's fight for Mandalore, Ezra's fight for Lothal, Hera and Kanan's fight for each other, the growing rebellion's fight against the Empire, Saw's fight against everyone, and Zeb's fight for relevance. There were also a lot of wolves, and I do mean a lot. But while there's certainly a lot to unpack and so many worthy topics to discuss, with the first episode of Season 4 now only being roughly 6 weeks away, there's one part of the trailer that I found to be the most interesting, and certainly the most thought-provoking as we enter the final season. This was Tarkin's reference to the Imperial Death Star project by its codename Stardust, in the presence of Grand Admiral Thrawn. Although we only have a few seconds worth of information from the trailer to go by, it seems as though the situation boils down to this. Grand Admiral Thrawn, as we learned in the Thrawn novel earlier this year, has a preference for the Imperial Navy to be comprised of Star Destroyer-sized capital ships with a large number of starfighters to provide support. As the Grand Admiral views it, this composition is the most efficient and flexible to be utilized as both a deterrence and effectively in combat situations. Thrawn felt so strongly in this regard that he specifically warned the Emperor himself about a move away from this configuration and towards a strategy that desired larger and larger vessels. Therefore, it's no surprise then that the Imperial TIE Defender was the product of the new fighter initiative introduced by Thrawn himself at the Imperial factory upon Lothal. The TIE Defender was perfect for Thrawn in his goal of defeating the Rebels by matching and exceeding the quality of the Rebellion's X-Wing and A-Wing starfighters, which were vastly superior to the Empire's TIE fighters. But while the TIE Defender meets the specifications of Thrawn's grand strategy, it really is an aversion to the overall strategy of the Imperial Navy, which focuses on the projection of power through its Star Destroyer-sized capital ships, whereby starfighters are viewed as far less important. And that seems to be the wall Thrawn has hit in the trailer, as Tarkin is implying that his TIE Defender program is in jeopardy, given that it's siphoning resources away from other Imperial projects, specifically the Death Star. But Tarkin's words to Thrawn in the trailer, wherein he tells the Grand Admiral that Krennic has been particularly persuasive in regard to his own project, and references the codename of the Death Star plans, isn't just important given the potential risk to the TIE Defender program, or interesting in that we may actually get to see Thrawn come face to face with the battle station. Rather, Tarkin's reference to the Death Star plans might actually be the catalyst for Thrawn to leave the Empire and rejoin the Chiss ascendancy within the unknown regions of the galaxy. I've discussed a few of these points in a handful of recent videos, so I won't repeat every one of them again, but it is important to understand the potential impact the Death Star could have on Thrawn's role within the Empire. At the end of the day, the primary reason why Thrawn has allied himself with the Empire and is assisting their fight against the Rebellion is that he wants the Empire to be as strong as possible so that they're a valuable ally of the Chiss in their fight against the threats within the unknown regions. However, Thrawn's alliance with the Empire is not unconditional. As he told his nemesis Nightswan within the Thrawn novel, when both had become curious of the Imperial project that was sucking up so many of the galaxy's resources, if Thrawn ever determined that the Death Star project represented a bigger threat to the Chiss than the current evil within the unknown regions, then the Grand Admiral would rethink his alliance with the Empire. The importance of Tarkin's reveal of the Death Star's codename and the plans themselves as Project Stardust isn't just that it increases Thrawn's awareness of the Death Star. Thrawn does already know quite a bit about the battle station by the time he becomes Grand Admiral of the Imperial Navy, which occurred before his appearance in the Rebels TV series. At this point, it's clear that Thrawn already knows the superweapon's true name as Death Star, as well as its relative size and power. So Tarkin's reveal of Stardust isn't important in that it makes Thrawn aware of the Death Star for the first time, as he's already aware of it. The reveal is important because it gives Thrawn the ability to locate the blueprints and plans of the Death Star, which were also given the codename Stardust, and understand the true capabilities and intentions of the battle station, something he's desperately searching for at the end of the Thrawn novel. Tarkin's line to Thrawn in the trailer is another step in forcing the Chiss Grand Admiral to make the difficult decision regarding his future in the Empire, and to answer the question, does the Death Star represent a large enough threat to the Chiss that Thrawn must end his alliance with the Empire? It's hard to imagine that once in possession of the codename of the Death Star blueprints, that Thrawn doesn't ultimately discover them for himself. And once he's seen the blueprints for himself, and understands the full nature of the Death Star and its capacity to destroy, it's difficult to imagine that Thrawn doesn't conclude that the Empire's intention is to use it and bring unimaginable destruction to the galaxy. Personally, I believe Tarkin's reveal and reference to the codename Stardust is the beginning of the end for Thrawn's position within the Empire. I believe he will discover the blueprints of the Death Star and come to recognize the true abhorrence of the Empire and the machinations of the Emperor, causing him to view the Empire as a greater, or at least an equal threat to those within the unknown regions, and prompting him to leave to rejoin the Chiss Ascendancy. As Thrawn told the Emperor personally when trying to determine the intention of the Death Star project, I would certainly not wish to see my aid to you and your empire subverted into conquest or destruction. The Stardust blueprints will make it clear to Thrawn that the Empire exists for exactly that reason, and the potential destruction that can be unleashed by the Death Star, not to mention the threat it represents to the Chiss, will cause Thrawn to end his service to the Empire, to rejoin the Chiss Ascendancy within the unknown regions. Regardless, Season 4 of Rebels looks like it's going to be an amazing end to the series. In the coming weeks, I'm going to be releasing my wish list of the top 5 things I'd like to see in the final season, but please let me know in the comments section below the storylines and aspects that you're looking forward to the most, or those that you'd like to see. Thank you for watching everyone, and as always, may the Force be with you.